May 9th, 2023. You guessed it, hit that subscribe button. Start off by saying if you hear some noise in the background, I'm sorry, it's the air conditioner running. It's a little hot here today. Y'all know I don't like it over 65 degrees or 60. But what's going to happen Thursday? Title 42 is going to come up. Some of these channels on here are making it out that it's just going to be an old West firefighter around the border, right? That supposedly we got militia groups going down there. We've got citizens that's getting armed up to go down here to protect the border. You know, a lot of these channels are making it out like, hey, this is going to break off into a big war down there, right? You got to understand, they've been coming through even with Title 42 in place. They have. Now, how do you fix it? I don't know. I don't know how do you fix it. I know, you know, President Trump, when he was running for president, I voted for him, but a lot of people, you know, he's going to build that wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. Hillary's going to be in jail. I understood. I even laughed the first time I heard that. I'm like, man, he's selling it, ain't he? Because you knew he's not going to get them to pay for the wall, and Hillary's not going to go to jail. You knew it, but some people just jumped on that bandwagon. Like, yeah, here we go, here we go. He did get some of the wall built, and a lot of people are mad because the wall was put up, and they're talking about wanting a fence off the whole border, and people just get mad about that, right? They're like, that's not right. We shouldn't do this. But they are perfectly okay with their kids' school having a fence around it. My small town, you know, the school from kindergarten through 12th grade, they may have 150 to 200 students. Maybe now. I don't even think they've got 150, honestly. It's a 1A school. They've got a fence around the school building. Everybody's okay with it, you know, because it's for safety. You know, you got all these active shooters, and, you know, you need safety at school. Understandable, right? But if you say we want to fence the border off, them same people get mad. That shouldn't, that shouldn't be done. Well, you can't have it both ways. You know, you hear some of these channels on here that's telling you that 90% of the people coming across the border is, you know, criminals, you know, hardcore Mexican gang members. You know, they're going to come across the border and rape, rob, kill, pillage, and all this. Yes, they are some in there. I'm not saying they're not. But you also got to understand it's not all of Mexicans coming across the border. People from all over the world come through Mexico to come across the border through Mexico. You know, what could that do, right? Well, we already agree, most of us that watch my channel know we've got sleeper cells here in America already. It's just waiting. Now, you can start letting more people in, and eventually, you know, they got a pretty good bit, a little small army here in the United States, right? Like I said, how do you fix it? Build a fence, put certain sections where you can come through it, right? I mean, that would, just like at a school, you can only come through this section, and when you get here, you've got to go through the office and check in, right? A lot of people say, well, you know, America was founded on immigrants. Immigrants moved over here. You are correct on that. But the mass immigrants that come over, you know, in the early 1900s, they came through Ellis Island. You know, I always tell you, read your history, read your history. A lot of this stuff has happened in the past, but we just don't remember it, or we just don't care about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What's going to happen Thursday morning? Are we going to wake up and we're going to see just all kind of firefights, you know, Third World War breaking off at the border? I don't think so. Why is the National Guard going there? Some people are saying they're going there to help, you know, kind of protect the area. And you got some people saying that they're going down there to help the immigrants and show them, you know, here's where you need to live. Here's the type of stuff you need to do to get this benefits, these benefits, these benefits. What does this help in the long run if they allow just tens of thousands of immigrants in, right? They're even talking about giving them the rights to vote. Now, it's not been passed or anything like that, but they're talking about it. It helps the Democratic Party stay in power. Why are the Democrats and the Republicans fight so much, right? Because you know as soon as they close the door, they're buddy-buddy, you know, counting their money, slapping each other on the back like we got them this time. But so many people fall into that trap. You've got a candidate running that he's going to do this one's going to do this. You've got to understand these presidents can't do nothing without Congress's approval. They've got executive powers, yes. But as far as some of this, they can't do it, you know. Regardless of what they tell you, you got to understand that. It's all, like I say, smoke and mirrors. You know, they're fighting here in front of you, but then when they get behind closed doors, they're buddies, you know. The Hillary getting arrested, everybody's fired up over that, like, go Trump, right? It didn't happen. And honestly, look who wound up getting arrested out of that, Trump, for something that shouldn't technically even be in court, you know. But they're going to ride that out. But what's going to happen Thursday morning? We're going to see a lot of immigrants come through. How are they going to handle them? I don't know. You know, you hear stories of crime is already up in there. You know, drugs are already up in there. Y'all got to understand something. Drugs have been coming in this country long before all this. Long before. Illegal immigrants have been coming in long before this. You know, a lot of people act like all this stuff's new. I mean, if you grew up out in Compton and stuff in the 80s, you know, it was World War then and people was getting shot all the time, right? They blamed it on drugs and street violence. Well, that's what we're hearing is going to come across the board. What's your thoughts on this? The video's not over, but what's your thoughts on this? Do you honestly think that 90% of the people coming across the border are criminals? You know, how do you fix this? How would you fix it if you were president and you had full run and you didn't have to get Congress's approval? What you said went, right? How could you fix it? Like I said, fence the borders off, right? Have a certain checkpoint you got to come through. But believe it or not, even like that, they're still going to come across. There's still ways to get across. But as far as an all-out war breaking out, I don't believe that's going to happen. You may have a few little skirmishes, you know, some good old boys or something down there. But my area here, growing up, you know, late 70s, 80s, 90s, we didn't see a huge Hispanic population in here. There was a few that would come in. Big tater fields out here. They would come in and they would help out with the crops, you know, the farm crops. And then when I was a little bit older, you know, in the mid-90s, the sock mills started hiring them, and then we got a big influx here, you know. I can remember when my kids were in school, something was passed by one of the presidents. I don't remember what it was, but all of a sudden, all the Hispanics that were at school were gone. You know, the next day they were gone. They didn't come back. You know, so I guess the parents was illegal. You know, I don't know how we fix it, guys. I really don't. I can't come on here and tell you how to fix it. I can come on here and tell you what I think is going to happen. I do not think it's going to be all out. I mean, first of all, are these people coming across the border with their guns? You know, some of them are, don't get me wrong. But that many as some of these channels is acting it's going to come across Thursday. This is just the start. It's what you got to understand. It's not they're going to come across and invade the United States and be all out warfare on the border. It's not. Everything that happens today when it comes to the government has been planned well before it happens. Most of y'all know that. You know, something's going to happen with it, but I think it's going to be all out warfare Thursday. No, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll come on here and say I'm wrong, but I think we're going to have a lot of news coverage like everything else. A lot of news coverage on it, you know, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then next week we won't hear much about it. A lot of the channels on here that's flipping out about it right now, they won't even go back and touch on it. You see that a lot here on the YouTube. Whatever's in the news, the YouTube creators get on here and start screaming, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and then when those days goes by and it's not in the news, they don't talk about it no more. They get on to something else, whatever's in the news, right? But I would keep my eyes and ears open to what's going on down there. I wouldn't just, it ain't nothing. I wouldn't do that. Pay attention to what's going on down there. You know, if you live in that area, you know, I would say be sure you're prepped up and be prepared for anything to happen in that area. Because I honestly can't sit here and say who and what's coming across the border. I can't. You know, if you live in that area and you know, you're having to deal with all this, I feel sorry for you, but all you can do is protect yourself and your family. That's it. You know, protect yourself and your family. And we'll see what happens Thursday and Friday. Stay safe. Keep your head on the swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. If you're still watching, hit that subscribe button. Comment on this one. How would you fix this immigration problem? How could you fix it to be set in stone and it doesn't happen no more? Let me know your thoughts on this. Stay safe. Get prepped.